G'day and welcome to Aussie Moto and Outdoors. Today we're doing a list. We're going to talk about 8 things you probably didn't know about the Yamaha R3. We're going to set this list against a nice tour of the Palmerston Highway in far North Queensland, Australia. So a quick stop at the servo, as we like to call them here in Australia, and then on the way. This is a 2022 Yamaha YZF R3 in blue. I've had it for about a month and a half. Okay, so the first misconception about the Yamaha R3 is that it's an uncomfortable or a cramped bike. And this is a reputation for a lot of sport bikes. But the R3 does actually have quite high clip-ons, and your rear set really isn't too high, so it is quite a comfortable bike. Now, as I say, you should always go to the shop and have a sit on the bike before you buy it. It's one thing to scour the internet for hours and hours, assuming what you might like. But you really need to ride the bike to know what you're going to like. And this is the same with going into the shop and sitting on it. Yes, it's going to show you how far you have to reach, and yes, it's going to show you how leaned over you're going to be, but it's not going to show you how comfortable you are on a long trip until you take a long trip. So, you know, it's all well and good to say, well, this is what I'm going to like, but until you buy the bike and put a couple hundred Ks on it, you're going to have absolutely no idea just how comfortable it's going to be. For us noobs, this is just a risk we've got to take. Once you've been riding for a couple of years, you'll have a much better idea. You'll be able to talk to other riders, you'll be able to ride other bikes, you'll be able to confidently go for test rides. But for us, you know, we're noobs. Let's just get a bike, get riding, have some fun. So you can probably see how comfortable I am on the bike. My back is reasonably straight. There's no weight on my wrist. It's actually really comfortable. I do have quite long arms. I am 6'1" tall. My legs aren't cramped. They're sort of in what I find a pretty comfortable position. They're not so low that I can't get a decent lean angle into turns, and they're not so high that they're cramped. So we'll just stop for a moment, have a look at this view. These are things I can't just drive by. I've got to stop, get off the bike and have a decent look. So the gorgeous mountain off in the distance, the ever-present Mount Bartlefrere. It's the largest mountain in Queensland. And pretty much anywhere in North Queensland you can see it. But how's that? 360 degrees, just gorgeous views. Couple of nice photos of the bike for Instagram and socials. And then, see that? I got my glove up the top there. Anyway, there's Bartlefrere in the background. Gorgeous. I've been to the top of that. Great climb. Now this is a double speed just to, because I really enjoyed this twisty. It was really nice, but it's going to be a half-hour video if I played the whole thing. So I just sped it up so we can cruise on down. We're coming down onto the Beatrice River here. Again, beautiful spot. Let's get back to the list. So what number we're up to in the list? Is somebody keeping count? I wasn't, sorry. Just stopping in here, Crawford's Lookout. I'm sorry, I can't resist these nice lookouts, so I have to get off the bike and take a photo. Thick, dense tropical rainforest. As we come down the range, it starts to get really warm as we get close to the coast. So we're coming from inland up on the tablelands down to the North Queensland tropical coast, near Innisfail, just south of Cairns. And the temperature around here, it rises by about 3 or 4 degrees just over the space of a couple of Ks. Okay, so I'm actually heading down to a beach. It's called Etty Bay. Gorgeous little beach, about an hour south of Cairns. Tropical far North Queensland. And this nice little set of twisties that lead you down onto the beach. A little bit of fun leaning here and there. And this road is loaded with cassowaries. Now, if you don't know what a cassowary is, do yourself a favour and Google it. A cassowary is like a cross between an ostrich and a turkey, but they're vicious. They have a claw on their middle toe. They could disembowel a person easily. They can run super fast. There's no getting away from them. But these ones have almost become domesticated. They're just used to people on the beach feeding them. So they're constantly here on the road. There's big dramas with you know, them getting hit by cars, which is obviously a tragedy. A gorgeous big bird. There we go, there's the ocean. Look here, he's sitting down eating a bit of fruit. They're such a cool animal. Seriously, Google it if you're not familiar with them. Okay, once again, I've got distracted and I'm not paying much attention to the list. I'm sorry. All right, we'll get back to the list. We've done a few though. It was a good start, right? Is it one or two we've done? Well, how about something that everybody knows about the R3? That it's gorgeous, and when you cruise along the beach, you turn a lot of heads. And you know that's not the reason we buy these bikes, but it is a bonus. I'll just get distracted once more real quick and take a couple of photos down here. It was a really nice day for it, apart from being quite hot. About to head home back up the range. I thought I'd stop at yet another lookout. This is on Henderson Drive. One more stop and a couple of photos. Alright, back to the list. I think we're up to like number 3 or 4 or something now. Common misconception with the R3 is that it's slow. Now what you shouldn't do is read online about the modest horsepower and torque figures and assume the bike isn't going to be powerful enough for you. If you're like me, which most people buying an R3 are, you're a new or returning rider. You're used to how your car accelerates and this bike is going to feel quite fast. But if you want something a little less subjective, a decent metric for assessing power and torque, here's an easy one, your ability to pass on the highway. Now here I am, uphill, reasonably steep, behind a car coming up on an overtaking lane. They say 5th and 6th gears are overdrives and you want to be back in 4th or 3rd if you're going to overtake. Well, I decided to show you just how well the bike uses the torque that it has. Now I stayed in 6th gear that whole time, rolled on the throttle, I didn't even go wide open. No need to drop back gears, the pass was done easily, and on a decent incline. Alright, number 6 or 12 in the misconception list, and it's more of a fallacy, and it goes both ways actually. Plenty of people say you grow out of this bike pretty quick and you want something bigger, but then there's plenty of people online that have the R3 and they've done 3-month and 1 year reviews saying they're still not sick of it. So I really don't know. I may get bored with it, I may not, but I'll let you know and I'll be honest. Now if you watch the next passing manoeuvre, I wanted to show what happens when you drop back a gear or start in a much lower gear. So this is from 2nd gear. I waited for the other guys to go, but they were just sort of sitting there. They hesitated, so I thought, oh well, I'm going to go. A couple of gears later, I'm on the edge of what's permissible, regards speed. Everybody's behind me, I've got clear road in front of me. Away I go. And here's one of those spots where I'm just going to shut the hell up. So I decided to stop at Milla, grab myself a Coke and a chockey from the local cafe, and just sitting down here in the shade in the park, refreshing myself a little before the last leg home. What are we up to on the list? What are we talking about? Got any questions? Got anything about the R3 you'd like me to answer? Just pop it down in the comments and I'll do it for you right away. Come on guys, I've only got like 6 subscribers and I'm getting 30 or 40 views, so I can answer every question you have. Everybody gets an answer. A common question online is, can you fit a phone mount to an R3? And there is a dude on YouTube who does just that, but it's an older R3, I think it's a 2019, and there was a little more room on the clip-ons than what they have now. So this is the 2022 model. You can get it on, this is a quad lock. You've just got to do pretty much exactly the same as what old mate did in the video I just mentioned. It's just a little trickier. You get in here, these 2 bolts here, which are your brake fluid reservoir. You loosen them right off until you can get the quad lock mount in. And once you've got it in, tighten everything up, and then you can just fit what you like. I got the suspension mount and the wireless charging. And away you go. Then you've got to mess around with it a bit to get it exactly where you want, because you don't want your phone hitting the windscreen of the tank when you turn. Another thing people didn't know, but this isn't specific to the R3. If you send a tweet to Tory Bruno is the CEO of ULA Launch, on your birthday, he'll send you one of these. And this is pretty cool. Perfect motorcycle keyring. So there you go, 2 in 1. Now the next thing you probably didn't know about your R3 or the R3 you're going to buy is its physical size. They're really not that small. And when I bought mine, it was parked next to an R7. And apart from obvious things like the number that precedes the R, the physical size and stature was exactly the same. In fact, the R7 is slightly slimmer than the R3. Now the tyre can be a dead giveaway. A larger bike's going to have a bigger tyre at the back. But just seeing it from side on, the R3 is not a small bike, and it is quite comfortable. Alright, I'll give you another 2-in-1 little known fact. And I don't know if it's a little known fact or just something that gets asked a lot. But one of the questions I came across a lot when I was researching this to buy it was, can you use it exclusively as a recreational tourer? And well, in the month I've had it, I've put 2,744 Ks on it. Like just today's trip was 244.8 Ks. And it was a really comfortable trip. I did have some stops getting off the bike, getting photos and things. But as a 2-in-1 little known fact, can you get better fuel economy than Yamaha says you can? Well, they reckon this thing can do about 3.2 litres per 100, and I'm currently at 2.9 litres per 100. And that's with that drive up the range, uphill, and some nice little passing. So yes, you can beat Yamaha's recommended fuel economy. Well, that just about wraps it up. Thanks again for watching. You need to put your phone down and get outside. More videos to come.